So I was going to do a review of the CCL game involving MLS team a little bit earlier, but because of the fact that this game went to a PK shootout, and it turns out it was a peak Concacaf level of a PK shootout that went incredibly long, and we'll definitely talk about the wildness that happened in terms of this game. That's why this review is a little bit later than anticipated in terms of me recording it. But that being said, in terms of these three team that was involved in CCL today, well, if you're an MLS team that were playing against a team called Santos, you had a great night. But if you were an MLS team that was not playing a team called Santos, yeah, this was definitely a night you do not want to remember. And turns out it was another embarrassing night for the Colorado Rapids in a game that was a knockout kind of type of game. But we start off with the first game between NYCFC versus Santos Guapiles. And by the way, this is actually the only game I did not watch out of all three of these games. I actually just got home in time to watch both of these games, but obviously when this game kicked off, which was around 3 o'clock my time, I was still at work, so I wasn't able to watch this game. But really, I didn't miss much in terms of this game because this one was looking very similar to what we saw in the first leg, where it was pretty clear that NYCFC were way better than Santos Guapiles, and this time they actually double the amount of goals that they scored in the first leg by beating Santos Guapiles 4-0 and 6-0 overall in the aggregate score. There was actually a couple of hundred NYCFC fans made the trip to watch this game. Now, originally when I first saw the highlights, I thought this game was playing behind closed door at Bank of California Stadium, but no, there were a couple of NYCFC fans made the trip to LA, and again, knowing the fact that NYCFC is going to be playing against the Galaxy, this is really the reason why they decided to play this game at Bank of California Stadium for logistic reason. But it's also a good reason, if you're an NYCFC fan, you can make your trip to LA, but now not only just like watch your team play once, but also two times in a span of a couple of days, and that's kind of something that I don't think I've ever seen a fan that want to take an away trip to do. So I mean, normally it'll be good that you can see your team play away once, but to see them twice in the same week, that is definitely a rarity. And again, I have a feeling those fans are going to be also there at Dignity Health Sports Park on Sunday when they take on the LA Galaxy for the season opener. Now in the 5th minute, Magno went through on goal but missed wide before Solano puts it wide, as that was really Santos' first real attack of the game, and they really didn't have a lot of chance in this game, though there was that one moment that they actually came very close in terms of scoring, which I'll talk about in just a bit. But then Magno missed wide again from close range in the 15th minute before Morales missed one high in the 16th minute, and I thought it was kind of feel like it's inevitable before NYCFC eventually get there first because they were mounting the pressure on Santos. Ruiz denied Castellanos from long range. I mean, if Castellanos scores that one, that price tag has just went up another $1 million. But like I said, it was inevitable that NYCFC was going to get that opening goal. And on the very next play, Alfredo Morales scored from Maxi Morales to give NYCFC a 1-0 lead and a 3-0 lead in the aggregate score. So the two Morales combined in terms of the goal scoring and assist chart there. And then not long after, it was 2-0 in favor of NYCFC as Maxime Chenot, the one that was able to make it 2-0 in favor of NYCFC. And this was actually not a header that he scored from a corner. And it's very rare you see a center back able to score a goal not on a header from a corner. But I will say that this was definitely not a good moment for the Santos goalkeeper, which, yeah, I feel like he definitely should have done better. But nevertheless, NYCFC won't care. They were up 2-0 and up 4-0 in terms of the aggregate score. And then Magno had a shot that was clear off the line by Janssen. And I mean, at that point, Talles Magno feel like he is just snake bit in this game because he had what that was like his third chances of the game, and he weren't able to capitalize on one of those. Though in the second half, his luck definitely changed because after the post denied Mason and Santos a consolation goal, which is pretty much the closest that Santos has came of scoring a goal in these two-leg affair. Talles Magno finally got the goal he deserved in the 80th minute as he scored from Thiago Andrade to make it 3-0 in favor of NYCFC. And then he scored again in the 86th minute, this time from Acevedo to make it 4-0 and 6-0 overall in the aggregate score. And that would be the final score in terms of the score of both of these legs, as NYCFC had 20 shots in this game compared to 3 that Santos had, 7 shots on goal compared to none that Santos had, 10 shots off target compared to 3 that Santos had, 3 shots out of block compared to none that Santos had, and possession-wise, 61% possession compared to 39% possession that Santos has in this game. And yeah, for NYCFC, it was kind of just routine for them to move on into the next round, and also kind of a good preparation for their big game against the Galaxy in their season opener. But I know for sure in the next round, I know NYCFC has had had a very easy path to go on to the next round, but as I will talk about in this game, they might not get a easier task against Comunicaciones compared to what they got with Santos Guapiles, who, again, this is a team that is making their Concacaf Champions League debut, and it also feels like this was a team that they're just happy to be there. They're not there to expect to really do much, and I know they'll be disappointed that they didn't get a goal in this competition, but they definitely will hold their heads high, knowing the fact that they definitely enjoyed that experience of being in the big stage, and certainly a big moment for a lot of these players to get a chance to play against a team that won MLS Cup last season. Now, moving on, in terms of the next match, is Montreal. And honestly, if I actually had a Montreal jersey, which, by the way, I just ordered one yesterday, and it's the new one that they have, which I actually really love the new jersey that they have, which is the away kit. And I know some say that one is very similar to the one that Arsenal had back in 2020, but I actually do like the Arsenal one that they did, and I have no problem that Adidas decided to kind of copycat that design, because it still looked like a very, very good design, and hopefully that jersey will come in a couple of days. But nevertheless, for Montreal, what an impressive performance this was against Santos Laguna. Now, I know Liga MX fans are going to immediately point out that, well, Santos is dead last in Liga MX. They're not good whatsoever. So you expect the fact that Montreal should easily roll over them. But still, when you look at what the first leg was, where really Santos just completely dominated Montreal, I didn't think we saw a flip of the script in this game between both of these teams. And in the first half, and just like in the first leg, we actually saw an early goal for Montreal, and it's actually scored by the same guy that scored what thought was the first goal of the game against Santos Laguna away, as Kyoto, of course, scored here from Chanel, but Shrinier. Yeah, I don't want to get that of course confused. Though it can definitely be easy to confuse that. But yeah, he scored there from Shrinier to make it 1-0 in favor of Montreal. And again, unlike in the first leg where Kyoto goal was disallowed, this time his goal, of course, was not disallowed. Though I kind of had a feeling it was going to happen again, because when Kyoto basically hits that one from probably the most tightest angle as possible, from the byline, I mean, I thought for a second maybe that ball actually crossed the line, and that goal, of course, was disallowed, but they didn't check it. The goal, of course, stand, and Montreal was able to get a dream start in this tie, tying the Aggies score and leading 1-0 in the second leg. Then Camacho puts it over the bar from the corner. I mean, Camacho had a couple early chances in this game, and for a center back, that's kind of weird to say that what your center back is able to get some early chances in the first couple of minutes. But I also thought that it was a promising start for Montreal, and that promising start was rewarded with them scoring the second goal. It's Georgi Mihailovic scoring from Kyoto and Miller to give Montreal a 2-0 lead. Seriously, Greg Berhalter, you have to call Mihailovic in this last World Cup qualifier window, because I've heard the news of Weston McKennie look like he's going to be suffer a long-term injury, which is a huge blow for this U.S. men's national team, not only in the World Cup qualifier, but also what happened in the World Cup in December, and that fingers crossed that McKennie will recover in time, where if the U.S. does make it to the World Cup in Qatar, he can definitely be a part of it. But we also heard that Gio Reyna also is going to be sidelined for a bit. So this is a big opportunity for Mihailovic, a guy that, I mean, I still feel like if there is one guy that really deserved to get called up from the U.S. men's national team, it's got to be Georgi Mihailovic. And Mihailovic had said before he's frustrated the fact that he's not being called up, even though it's pretty clear that he is good enough. And I know, during that short stint when Mihailovic was on the national team, he was not good whatsoever. But that was back when he wasn't in the best form. He is definitely in the best form of his life now with Montreal. And that, again, for Greg Berhalter, I feel like he has no option. He's got to call him up and see what he can do in the World Cup qualifying, or the remaining World Cup qualifying game that the U.S. is going to be playing. Now, in the 45th minute, the post denied Charnier and Montreal a third goal. And, it was important that Montreal was looking to not just settle for a 2-0 lead, because, if Santos does score a goal, then all of a sudden, Santos would have the advantage on away goal. But we head to halftime with Montreal leading 2-0. And then in the second half, we saw some pushing and shoving for the first time in this match between both of these teams, which is not a big surprise, because anytime when a MLS and Liga MX team meet, things are definitely gonna be heated in a Concacaf Champions League game. Acevedo then denied Kyoto in the near post in the 49th minute before he denied Kone, as Montreal was really starting to push for a third goal. Again, it was very important that they need that third goal to make sure that, Santos doesn't just score one and have the advantage back in their favor in this two-legged affair. Miller had a chance, but he heads one straight to Acevedo before, in the 61st minute, Montreal finally got that deserved third goal. And what a moment this is for Ismail Kone, who scored for Mihailovic and Torres to give Montreal a 3-0 lead. And I say it's a big moment because, he is a guy that, from what I heard, there's a lot of Montreal fans saying that he is definitely a highly talented player coming out of their academy, and that he's also only 18 years old, and that if he can live up to his potential, he could definitely be another threat to be a guy that be on this Canadian national team. And we'll see if that, of course, is the case. But still, it has to be a huge moment for him to come off the bench and get himself his first career goal for Montreal the bench, and most importantly scoring a crucial third goal to make it 3-1 in terms of the aggregate score. And then as time winds down, which by the way I didn't really wrote a lot of notes after this because I was really keeping an eye on this game, but one more note I did write in this game is that there was definitely more pushing and shoving from both of these teams. I mean, Santos was kind of being a little bit of a sore loser late in this game, as it is the case for most Liga MX team trying to wind up Montreal. And I think Breeza kind of also got into the action too. I mean, it's not very often you see a goalkeeper get into a bit of a pushing and shoving going on between both teams, but nevertheless, in the end, not really much was happening after that. I don't think there was even a card that was shown throughout that little melee, because after all, that is how CONCACAF works, where unless if it's a malicious melee, referees are just going to not reach into his pocket hit at all in this game. But nevertheless, Montreal, they're moving on into the next round of the CONCACAF Champions League, and most likely they are going to face another tough Liga MX opponent in Cruz Azul. But for one night, I think Montreal fans will definitely savor this night, and another night where it's a memorable night for this team that had so many memorable moments in this competition. Shots in this one, 10 shots compared to 9 that Santos had, 6 shots on goal compared to 2 that Santos Laguna has. Both teams had 4 shots off target. And in terms of block shot, Montreal didn't have any shots that was blocked compared to 3 that Santos Laguna has. And possession-wise, Montreal dominated the possession with 58% possession compared to 42% possession that this Santos Laguna team has. And again, for Montreal, what a win this is. And, I don't blame any Montreal fans. Is very excited to see this team play as the season begins, because you can definitely see that there are some talent in this team. And this is also why I've said that this team under Wilfried Nancy, don't be surprised, they could be a dark horse and could be a team that could be a challenger in the Eastern Conference, because they definitely have the talent to do so, and also so they do have the depth in terms of still able to get resort even if some of their star player is injured from this team. Now, moving on in terms of the next match, and to a game that I'm pretty sure everybody are waiting for me to talk about, which is the Colorado Rapids versus Comunicaciones in the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions League between both of these teams. And I love a snow game. Like, you know me, I always love a snow game because it doesn't happen often. And this game was definitely a snow game, and in some way, I just kind of had a feeling that when it's a snow game in the Concacaf Champions League, which I think I've never seen a snow game in the Concacaf Champions League, but I knew that if we ever get a snow game in CCL, you know things are going to go crazy, and that there's going to be some bizarre things that's going to happen in this game, and boy, did we had some bizarre thing happen in this one, and especially what happened in the PK shootout. Now, the game time temperature was at 9 degrees in this one, so it's not as cold as what we saw in the game between the U.S. and Honduras at Allianz Field in St. Paul, but it is still colder than when the Rapids took on the Portland Timbers in what was the coldest MLS game ever to be recorded. Though the cold doesn't seem like it bothered a lot of Guatemalan fans that actually made it to this game, and I gotta give props to them. I mean, obviously I'll give props to Rapids fan that they of course are still showed up in this extreme weather, but I also got to give a lot of props to those Guatemalan fans. And this is the beauty of CCL. I mean, we've seen this before, especially with the Central American team, where it can definitely unite a nation in terms of rooting for them to make some history. And little do we know that those same fans they got a big treat out of this game and witness some history in terms of a team that I'm not sure if they really support it, but I guess it's just because they want to support a team just because they're gonna make Guatemala definitely a on the spotlight in tonight's CONCACAF Champions League game. Now, early on in the third minute, Rubio flicked it just wide from close range. I thought it was a much better start from the Rapids compared to the last game, where it was a disastrous game that they had against Comunicaciones down in Guatemala. Wilson then rifle one straight to Moscoso, which, by the way, after this game, an MLS team's got to look into this goalkeeper called Kevin Moscoso. I mean, he had an absolute monster their night in this game, and and I think he is kind of the only reason why Comunicaciones is able to move on into the next round, because he just, like, besides the one goal that he conceded in the first half, he just basically say, no, I'm not going to let any Rapids player to score behind my net, and was just kind of a brick wall in front of that Comunicaciones goal. Now in the 10th minute, I did say that Rapids, of course, were pressing for an early lead. Before in the 10th minute, Moscoso robbed Price from 12 yards out. I mean, I know Jack Price is not known for his goal scoring, but that's one that, I feel like Price should have scored. But again, Moscoso was on fire in this game. Though in the 15th minute, it looked like Comunicaciones' chances of making history was going to take a huge dash, because one of their players called Steven Robles, he got sent off after they go to VAR to check to whether or not if a studs up challenge on Trusty is worthy of red card, which not gonna lie, I'm kind of surprised that eventually when they did go to VAR, they actually overturned the original call and actually gave Robles a red card, because I've seen before in the CONCACAF Champions League where I've seen these kind of challenges and it's only giving a yellow card, and even in some game it's not even given whatsoever. So it's kind of weird to see for once the right call, of course, was made of a malicious challenge, though I will talk about later in this game, where we also saw something that definitely would have been a red card in an MLS game that was not a red card in the CONCACAF Champions League, and it's almost feel like that was just this was just an outlier in terms of a CCL game, where for once actually there was some competent referee and they actually make the right decision, where it doesn't seem like that always is the case in the CCL game. Now, Trusty then blazed one over the bar from long range in the 25th minute. Before in the 28th minute, Colorado finally got that the goal that they got, and it's their new signing, Max Alvarez, scoring from Roseberry to give the Rapids a 1-0 lead. I thought Alvarez was very good in this game, and if he can keep up the level that he's shown in this game, then maybe the Rapids might have actually got the number 10 that they want. I mean, the reason why I've always said that this Rapids team not only don't have a number 9, but they kind of also don't have a number 10 too, because yes, them bringing Max Alvarez maybe will be the answer, but to put pressure on an 18-year-old kid, or actually I think he's 18. I think or he might be 19. But either way, he's a very young Brazilian player, and to put him with that much pressure, I think it's kind of unrealistic. But at least in this game, he definitely was one of the better players from the Rapids in this game, which is also kind of surprised why Robin Fraser decided to sub him off in the second half of this one. Now, Karina with Comunicaciones' first real opportunity, but that one goes high. Before Rubio puts it over the bar from long range in the 33rd minute, the shots were 8-1 in favor of Colorado up to that point, and it would get even more lopsided as in the 37th minute, Moscoso had to deny Estevez from close range. Then he denied Alvarez from the near post in the 40th minute before he had to deny Rubio as the snow was starting to fall in the 43rd minute, and we had to halftime with the Rapids getting the 1-0 lead. But the job is still not done. They need another goal to be able to move on into the next leg. Now, in the second half, Rosenberry hits one straight to Moscoso as Colorado continued to press for a second. Alvarez's shot was clear off the line by Anunogono, and Anunogono himself actually had probably the best opportunity for Comunicaciones in regular time, as he missed just wide from close range. I mean, if that one went in, that the Guatemalan fans / Comunicaciones fans are going to go absolutely nuts if that one went in. The snow shovel was definitely coming out on the field, which, by then the field was really completely covered with white powder, and that, I feel like the snow really kind of harmed the Rapids in this game, because you definitely see that, in the first half, they were definitely much better in terms of moving the ball, and that in the second half, that doesn't seem like it was the case. And also, the pitch at the Sporting Goods Park, yeah, something tells me that, they really didn't do too much, a really good job in terms of dealing with. And I also heard that field was actually not heated, which, I guess it's not a surprise, because, this team is owned by Kroenke Sports Entertainment, and, the thing about KSE is that they tends to be very cheap with their team, and also very cheap in terms of how the stadium is. But I also think that's not a surprise, because I don't think there's going to be a lot of games you're going to see the Rapids play in the snow, and that this feels like it's just kind of one of those, so 1 in 100 kind of situation where the Rapids are actually playing in the snow. But it also doesn't help the fact that you can definitely see the turf was starting to be a big issue, and that I feel like those Rapids players, they some of them, I know some of them were part of that crazy Snow Classico game against the Portland Timbers, but some of them weren't even part of this, and I had a feeling they probably have never dealt with this situation before. Now, Mark Anthony Kaye did head one straight to Moscoso in the 69th minute before Mark Anthony Kaye would tease it up from long range, but that one goes wide. Then in the 73rd minute, this is where we see another classic CONCACAF moment where Gamboa only gets a yellow card despite clearly yanking Rubio down with his hands to his neck. And again, if that wasn't in MLS, it would definitely be a red card. But because this is the CONCACAF Champions League, anytime when a player decides to choke someone or maybe even slap someone, it's not a red card, because it's just kind of something that we usually see in this competition. Then in the 77th minute, this was probably the best save that Moscoso made all night. He absolutely robbed Mark Anthony Kaye, who was trying to do a little rando layout, a little shot from long range, but Moscoso somehow was able to get back to his lines and basically puts that one out. And really, as the time winds down, Colorado was desperate to try to get that second goal and a winner, because that they don't want this to go to a PK show. Like Comunicaciones, obviously they were playing for PKs, and that I just kind of also had a feeling that they're going to win it, because I've seen before when Central American team play against MLS team and it goes to a PK shootout, it usually doesn't go in favor of the MLS team. Though in the 89th minute, it looked like the Rapids finally got that winning goal, as Rubio would put it into the back of net to make it 2-0. But then they go to VAR to see whether or not if when that pass that Lewis gave to Rubio was Rubio in an offside position. And he was. And I think in the end it was the right call, even though it was relatively close. But yeah, the goal of course was chopped off. More heartbreak for MLS team in the Concacaf Champions League there, and as the last couple minutes winds down, both teams couldn't really get a decisive goal. So we go to a PK shootout, and again, this is also something that I've said that I think we have definitely reached peak CONCACAF level once again, because I think this is the first time I've ever seen a PK shootout in the snow. Now, the thing about the PK shootout is that the snow actually did stop, and that the grounds crew, they tried their best to use like the snow shovel to clear the penalty spot, so that things of course would be good, and that players doesn't just slip onto the snow. But I just kind of still had a feeling that maybe this PK shootout is going to be crazy, and boy oh boy, I was right about that, because after 4 straight conversion by both teams, Moscoso was able to deny Price from the spot. Then there was just 3 straight crossbar hit by both team, and I mean, that is just wild. The fact that both team would hit the crossbar 3 straight time in 3 straight PK conversion. Though one of them, Yarbo, did able to kind of finger that tip that one onto the post. But then as we head to the decisive round in the PK shootout, Moscoso was able to deny Rosenberry from the spot. But then on the other end, Yarbo was able to deny Lopez and push it onto the post, and that was actually the second consecutive time that Yarbrough was able to do so. And then in the next round of shootout, Moscoso was able to deny Shinyashiki from the spot. I thought as the PK shootout goes, the Rapids PK shot was getting more and more terrible, and I just wonder how in the world that is the case. Especially, I get that Keegan Rosenberry is a guy that is not used to a PK shot, but I think the Shinyashiki one, that's just inexcusable. Like, you are basically wearing the number 9 shirt, and you're supposed to be the lethal goal scorer of this team, and his PK, I mean, I will give credit that Moscoso did a good job saving that one, and I know, with the way that his night has went, it was unsurprised that he saves that one, but that PK take that Shinyashiki has was just absolutely dreadful. But in the 7th round of the PK shootout, Comunicaciones was finally able to capitalize as a former Rev player. He converted the winning penalty kick after, as I mentioned, Moscoso was able to deny Shinyashiki from the spot. And in the end, Comunicaciones, for the first time in their club history, is moving on into the quarterfinal of the CONCACAF Champions League, beating the Colorado Rapids 4-3 in a penalty kick shootout. The shots in this one, 24 shots compared to 6 that Comunicaciones had. 13 shots compared to none that Comunicaciones had. 4 shots off target compared to 8 that Rapids had. 3 shots that is blocked compared to 2 that Comunicaciones had. And in terms of possession, the Rapids had the better of the possession. 66% possession compared to 34% possession that Comunicaciones has in this game. But at the end of the game, the stats doesn't matter, because Comunicaciones were able to move on to the next round, and they absolutely deserve it, because they I would say that they really were trying to pull an RSL kind of method, which is just play for penalty. I don't blame them, because when you're on the road and you're down to 10 men, you that's kind of the best that you hope, and you gotta also give it to their goalkeeper, who, like I said, I feel like there's got to be some MLS team that desperately need goalkeeper that needs to take a look at Kevin Moscoso, and the fact that he's also only 28 years old. I mean, he's not like one of those kind of way past his prime Central American player that is in goal. No, he's in the best form of his career and in the prime of his career. So I won't be surprised. We'll see some MLS team that might look into it, and it won't be the first time where we've seen MLS team decide to look into this competition and maybe pick up a couple of guys from Central American team, because they know that maybe they could do well when they come to MLS. But either way, that is pretty much it in terms of reviewing all 3 of these games. Again, my majority of this review was talked about this game because of how crazy this one was. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all 3 of these games? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.